Okay, and as I said, he will be joining us just on audio today. So I hope everyone can hear him. And if you do not hear him, uh, please comment in the chat to let me know that it needs to be turned up or anything like that. Okay, folks? Um, but we'll go ahead and I guess we'll get started here. Um, Rabbi Shifrin, what did you want to start off by saying? I guess we're focusing on this so-called deal and the fallout from that.
Well, right. We mentioned this, excuse me, we mentioned this briefly in the last Torah a couple days ago. And when it comes to redeeming hostages, these are not hostages, these are people that are kidnapped. Okay, this is not a normal hostage situation. People that were kidnapped and that were there for to be murdered at a convenient time of the choosing of the murderers. So the problem that we face here is when some of these people that were kidnapped are released, they will be released in lieu of other murderers that have pledged to murder Jews. Now, this is kind of like Russian roulette, but worse. And this is something that we will learn to regret deeply. And it's been done before. There's been some major articles in the Israeli press. I have read them today in Hebrew. And every one of the people that was in charge of those previous hostage releases now regrets it. Every one of them. They regret it because they know that hundreds of thousands of murderers will be ready to take up their arms one more time against Jewish lives. They pledged to kill Jews. They pledged to exterminate Zionism. I don't know what I mean. If somebody comes up to you and says they're going to kill you, Torah says rise up and kill them first. Those of you that are familiar with that in the Torah, it's a golden rule. If somebody comes to you, you have to kill them first. You don't wait around. This is the most insane, ridiculous thing I can't even imagine the agony of knowing that more Jews will be killed for the few that will release. Now, I don't want it on my conscience to dictate to people that the people that are captive right now should be there for some sort of a killing, that we just abandon them to murderers. But this is what's going to happen again and again and again. Now, which one of you callers has the solution here? I would like to hear that. I'm very interested in hearing a solution to this horrific problem. Now, there's one way. One of the main editors of the Israeli news press said that what they need to do, why Israel has kept these people alive. Does anybody understand why thousands of Palestinian prisoners are kept in jail? Guess what? They get 3 squares a day. They get to play basketball. They have internet. They got the life of Riley, probably better off in Israeli jails than they were in their miserable huts, thinking about how to kill Jews. I want somebody who's listening to my words to tell me a solution other than killing them the second that they are taken prisoner, just off the right then and there. That way there'll be no prisoner exchange for them. Why have we insanely kept them at large in Israeli jails? Are we that righteous that we can grant life to murderers of Jews and claim that we're on the moral high ground? Tell me. I need somebody to tell me.
Yeah. I mean, we have one comment saying that absolutely infuriating deal. They should already regret this, and they're laughing at us. Um, yeah, I feel like what you're just saying, I would not want myself exchanged for 1,000 murderers and terrorists.
Well, that's what I, kudos to that caller. That's what I told my children. I don't want to be released knowing that my release caused the death of hundreds of other Jews. I don't think I can do that now. I know that these people are suffering. I get it. That you've been raped over and over and over. And life is hell. But this is something that they are going to have on their conscience the rest of their days. I don't know if I can deal with that. I totally respect the last caller that left that message. I think he's right on the money. Does anybody else have a solution?
You know, me personally, I had an idea that they should have just made outposts in Gaza where people could either come and turn in where the hostages are, and then once it's confirmed that they're given real information, then they be given some sort of protection, or else that the hostages themselves could go there if they escape, run to this place, and then there will be an IDF guy there or somebody to save you. But these ideas of these exchanges, first of all, they're accusing us of a genocide, right? There's no prisoner exchanges in a genocide, right? So I mean, they're
I think that there's a very the great premise. There's a basic problem with the premise here. This is the war between us and them. They started the war.
right.
To my recollection, we had a Pearl Harbor in this country. They started a war and we finished it with an atomic bomb. And if it wasn't for that atomic bomb, they said that 1 billion more American soldiers would have been killed. Now, everybody understands how that works. They were Germany. We carpet bombed Germany, and we bombed them into submission. And this is how war is. You keep fighting until they give up. These guys haven't given up. They think they're winning.
They're celebrating like they're winning.
That's it.
Fallen Down Angel, she says, a pathetic need to be liked. I can't imagine what else it could be.
I don't understand that. Is that again?
She said, is it a pathetic need to be liked?
That's it. Yeah, I think that Angel's got it right on the nose. The Jews simply want the Gentiles to love them. They will not be able to exist without being loved by the Gentiles. This is a sickness and a pathology that has followed us a long time. Guess what? There's a new generation of Jews now, a generation separated from the Holocaust that says, you know what? No more, never again, and it's a war between us and them.
Right.
This is just how it's going to be.
She also says, I was in a TikTok live earlier and they're laughing and saying that the girls were treated well. These are not people to be negotiated with. People ask me if I'm happy about this deal, but it's a cruel joke. Yeah, I don't understand how anybody could be happy.
The joke is on us.
Right.
We're the laughing stock of the world. And for all of that tribute that we're giving to the Gentiles and to the Arabs, we're being laughed at, and while we're waiting to be murdered. We're literally waiting to be murdered. I'm not going to wait to be murdered.
It's insane. You're literally enticing them, giving them incentive to repeatedly do the same thing again. I mean,
okay, so what do we have any other solutions?
I think everybody just seems very frustrated, honestly.
It's a horrible situation. I've never been more stressed when I think of what these animals have done. And they are animals. They're like cockroaches that jumped out. And the Israeli government, this is what Rabbi Kahana warned. The Israeli government is staffed with white Ashkenazi Jews, the progeny of former Jews of Poland and Germany that have a Western mentality. Now, foreign Jews understand what Arabs are all about. That's why they loved Rabbi Kahana. And we're going back to history now for a few moments, and we're reliving all the elections of the Koch Party and the JDL activism. And this is the pathology that we had to deal with since the state was started.
Mm-hmm.
They thought that no death penalty was a righteous thing. It's only righteous for those people that think that it's okay to kill Jews. They're the only ones that believe in that. And unfortunately, this is a Tibbuk. Tibbuk is a Jewish, an apparition, a ghost. Mm-hmm. This ghost has followed us forever. And I just rue the day, and we will live to rue the day again and again. I have a feeling that the Israeli public is going to get this, and the government's going to realize that they made a very big mistake here. I hope that there's some people listening to my voice, because what I just said, you're not going to hear on any place else other than the JDL. We're the only ones telling exactly what the situation is and what the solution is. Now, there's another solution, and I recommend, everybody's talked about it. It's a complete blockade of Gaza. No water, no oil, no gasoline, no food, no medicine, no diapers, nothing. Nothing gets in. After a day or two of no food or no water, the people themselves will turn in the terrorists. Right. Once they start to get hungry and thirsty, they're going to realize that the terrorists are the biggest mistake that they ever made. But right now, everybody supports Hamas. They still have 85% approval from the people in Gaza.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then maybe we should just level Gaza, just like what we did to the Nazis.
So there has been a development, and I'm not sure if you have heard this yet or if the people watching have heard this yet, but President Trump has been contacting Egypt and Jordan and possibly another country in the region, essentially trying to offer them basically financial and economic rewards and removals of any type of sanctions and stuff if they will take the Gazans, if they will take them and into their countries. Now, of course, you're going to have to offer them a lot because they don't want them, right? But essentially, it would be.
This is destined for failure. Anytime you reward terror, it's not going to work. I'm surprised. Well, Trump is a negotiator. He's a deal maker. He makes he can make it go. I'm surprised that Trump would do that, but I guess between a hard spot in Iraq with the Israelis and Jews and whatnot. I don't know what his thinking is. I don't believe that Trump really believes it's going to work. He's probably doing it for political leverage at this point.
Yeah, because at first, like, that sounds great, right? Like, oh, well, yeah, just send them all somewhere else. But the thing is that this population has gone other places and been likewise highly destructive anywhere that they've gone. Lebanon doesn't want them.
That's why no Arab country wants them.
I mean, they massacred Maronites in Lebanon. You know, I mean, essentially everything that has been tried to place them somewhere else has ended in deaths, um, for those countries, you know. Yeah, comment here says they're just a perpetual problem. Yeah.
The whole of Gaza is still Hamas. The people that are murderers, even if they're sent to other countries, you still got several million people in Gaza that are thirsty for blood. And when you look at Gaza now, it looks like a demolition place where people came in with bulldozers and just destroyed everything. Everything looks completely messed up there. Everything is destroyed, and the people still think that they're winners. This is how hate. This is the depth of the hatred of the Jew that they have. They consider that they won, and their country's completely destroyed. Well, I'm going to have to get off the line in a few minutes.
Okay.
And Natasha, I really appreciate your tremendous efforts to get this to people that are concerned. For those of you that reacted or that participated, kudos to you. Everything that they said was I totally agree with. And even if I didn't, the fact that they called in or texted in is good. At least that they're active and they're thinking about it. But this is we're not looking forward to the next time when we do have our computer going properly so we can get the video on and do it right. But we have an opportunity here. Sometimes we just have to take what we can get. And I'm so grateful for your efforts and all the efforts of those that participated.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this evening, Rabbi. And yeah, you're everything you said is 100%. You know, I don't feel like anybody listening would disagree with any of it.
Well, I appreciate that, and it would be nice to get some sort of dialogue with some people and have some different ideas. And I'm open to hear anything that works right now. Nothing's working. This ceasefire thing is just bound to blow up, but it will. But air's the air, man. The God created the air in a certain way. This hatred of Jews means that we won't be married now. We won't be intermarried. That's probably the best thing that can ever happen out of this whole mess. Because we wouldn't intermarry with them if they would love us. No question about it. Well, on that note, on that brilliant, comforting note, God bless everybody, and God bless JDL and Tasha, your tremendous efforts are appreciated, and God bless everybody that participated, and we'll talk to each other real soon.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
That was obviously Rabbi Shifren joining us. There were a couple issues with the technology, so we ended up doing it just on audio. But what's it say? Agree all aid should be stopped. Yeah, we shouldn't be giving them anything. And by we, I mean USA, Israel, at any sane country. We, the people of the world who are not crazy terrorists, right? We should not be doing anything for these psychopaths. They're murderers. They literally have it in the charter of Hamas to destroy Israel, and they want to kill all the Jews in the world. And they all voted for the group with that charter. So, yeah, I mean, it's, I see the comment there that they're demonic. Yeah, I mean, they literally are demonic because this is the type of behavior associated with demons, right? You know, killing, sexual perversion, enslaving people for, you know, to have power over them. They have a sick joy from killing. They do. It was exemplified October 7th when you had people Mom, I killed 10 Jew today. Oh, and just happy, laughing, smiling, as if they had won the fucking Super Bowl, you know? It's a sickness. It's a mental illness. Maybe there's something genetic to the mental illness. Maybe people are inheriting it. I don't know. Um, but it shouldn't be our problem. The problem is on our side that we seem to have an inherited mental illness of trying to please people uh, that want to kill us. This one says the fact that people think this is a good deal absolutely floors me. With all this, when will all this charade be over? They're really supposed to pretend this is okay. Yeah, and the messed up part of it is that the majority, since this has begun, the majority that I have seen, anyway, maybe somebody can enlighten me with some other stuff, but the majority of the Jewish influencer pages, or pages that have a lot of followers on social media, have just been posting like literal feel good videos of the girls rejoining with their families. And I understand for the families it's very emotional, uh but it's like a psyop where they're trying to make us feel like this is the feeling that you're supposed to have, like these parents having their family rejoin with them. All Jews are family, so you should feel that your family's coming home. But when you're endangering the rest of your family, is it really a good idea to quote unquote bring them home? Uh, it should The only thing that should have led to a ceasefire was a deal to set them free, all of them. Uh, it the onus on Israel with the bring them home movement has irked me from the beginning. It should be set them free. What do we mean bring them home? It's on the IDF. Like we just left them somewhere. That's what it sounds like when you say bring them home. Honestly, um, you know, they should be have been pressured to set them all free. It should not have been, okay, well, we'll give you these few for these 10,000, blah, 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 blah. Even if they had weakly decided to free a bunch of terrorists, why are we not getting all of our hostages back? A few, it's, you know, like this one said, it should be take them back, you know, and something like that, take them home, take them back, something. Uh, but it's just, it's really out of control. Um, the idea that we keep just being shown these reuniting things, like we're just supposed to be happy about that, is worsening it for me. Like we have the essential problem of the so-called deal, right? But then deeper, the Jewish media and at least the Western English equivalents. Obviously, I'm not reading that much in the Hebrew news, but in the West, what they're showing us is repeatedly uh, just this feel good stuff, and I don't fucking feel good. I don't feel good about it at all. I'm not going to feel good about it, and there's no reason to feel good about it. Yes, people were saved, and I'm happy for those people in the most that I can be when you're talking about them being freed for the purpose of freeing tons and tons and tons of killers who will kill again. And that's the thing. It's not, just people who were like uh, activists. These are not people who were in jail for doing a pro-Palestine demonstration. We're talking about actual killers, murderers, rapists, uh, some of whom did some things I don't even want to talk about, but I guess we would have to. Let me just mention that one of the people that were setting free, raped and beheaded a teenage girl. Is that how we do things? Is it where we're saying that is, well, this guy gets to go free because of in trade for somebody who did nothing wrong? Are are you fucking kidding me? And like this is a good comment. How can we be happy when we know the next victim could be any of us? And that is, yeah. And they're setting it up to be that way. That's the thing. And people don't realize that, well, some people do realize, but a lot of people in the modern secular Jewish world, they're not realizing that most of these people are not going to be separating Israelis from Jews. Okay. They're going to treat us all like we're all Israelis. And so now it's open season. Well, kidnap any of us and somebody will trade 1 million of your homies for it. That's what it fucking seems like. It seems like, I mean, it's literally uh, they're just asking for it to happen again. That's literally what they're doing. They're saying, hey, that kidnapped Jew stuff? That's the way to get your friends out of jail. That's the way to get out of your money problems. That's the way to get out of any problems that you have. Just go and do that, and just be the worst person possible, and then you can pressure people into doing what you say. That should not be the way. I don't know why this has to be mentioned, but I don't want a single terrorist, murderer, rapist, pedophile, anything like that freed in exchange for me. So you have me on video saying that if somebody ever decides to take me as a hostage, which probably, obviously be difficult for them, they're going to have a hard time dealing with me. But if that were to happen, I'm sorry. No, I don't. I refuse to be exchanged. And I feel like they should have something like when you join the IDF, you should sign something that says, hey, like organ donors, like, do you want to be on the list of people to get organs, give your organs up and stuff? You should sign a thing that says, no, do not, how they have do not resuscitate, do not trade, right? Would America do this? No. It's always been, we don't negotiate with terrorists. So what's up? Why is Israel pressured to? Well, for one, we had dickhead Joe Biden as a president. Luckily, that's over now, but it's kind of late, right, for a lot of things. He just today, Trump posted that he's sending military equipment that Israel bought and paid for. This wasn't aid that we were sending them for free. Biden, what? So he was going to rob Israel? He was just going to take the money for armaments and then not send it. That's what was going on with Biden. Biden clearly was our second Muslim president, first one being Obama. He was not in good standing with the Catholic Church, and then on his way out of office, the last day, decided to join the Freemasons. Um, he's doing takia. He's trying to cover up the fact that he's a Muslim and act like he believes in something else. And yeah, he had revealed himself to be either evil or incompetent. Well, you can be both. You know, you can be evil and your whole life, and it just wears you down to the point where you're just mumbling your evil nonsense and you're just incompetent. You can't walk up the stairs, but you're still an evil piece of shit, you know? And that is, you know, all that can be said about that. But he's clearly both evil and incompetent. Um, and then there's all these cucks in Europe too. We're also pressuring. Let's not forget, uh, the EU is a bunch of bitches. Um, their streets are also flooded with these Palestine protester people, these trash. So they also were pressuring Israel as well. But the biggest pressure, we have to admit, was from that rotten old potato, Joe Biden. He was literally he's the worst. He's the worst president we've ever had. Because he was just as evil as Obama, but he was also publicly embarrassing. At least Obama kind of held it together, and we knew he was like sinister, but he presented himself as put together, you know, as with it mentally. Um, but Biden decided to play the role of non compos mentis uh, while enacting his evil deeds. So he was also a public embarrassment on so many different levels to our country, you know. And then this deal was, I mean, the nail in the coffin of his presidency, right? It was the worst um, presidency that I've ever lived through personally, or survived through. I wouldn't even call it living. um, and this was just the end of it. Like, this was the shit frosting on top of the ass cake. I mean, this was just terrible, and they want you to just eat it, you know. But I could not imagine that on the way out that there were still people who supposedly would have rather had uh, Biden's sidekick Kamala, whatever her fucking name was, than Trump. Now I know Trump's not perfect. Trump has plenty of issues that I'm willing to admit. He has plenty of problems, plenty of, you know, misspeaks, I guess, and things like that. You know, not perfect at all, but compared to Jew hating communist freaks, yeah, he was the lesser evil, and that's sometimes uh, you know, better than the real evil, the true dark evil of somebody like Joe Biden. Or the Democratic Party at this point should just change their name to the demonic party, because everything they support is antithetical to God. They want to kill babies. They want to kill Jews. They want to fucking uh, steal from you. They literally, if it's in the Ten Commandments, the Democrats are like, fuck that. You know, and that's what we're down to. It's do we want to live by any type of values in this country anymore? I mean, we are a country of most people in America still believe in God, even if they're not affiliated religiously. Most people in this country still believe in God, but yet we have these people, and I use that term very loosely, so-called people on the left that want to remove everything godly, and they don't have anything good or positive to possibly replace it with. And this is what we end up with: dead, innocent people all around the world. Many years ago, hold on here, let me see. These are people who look down on anyone religious. They'll never agree with a religious viewpoint. Yeah, because they're demonic people. They're dark, soulless, heartless demons, you know. And then they wrap up regular people who are just religiously uneducated, and they get their support. They go, oh well, he's liberal, he's a social liberal, he wants to be kind to people, and they put it all in this little box of being friendly and kind and inclusive and all this stuff. But okay, we can be inclusive of different types of people, except evil ones. You can't be inclusive to demons. Like, inclusivity doesn't mean anything if you only include all the same viewpoints but just a bunch of different colors. That's not being diverse or inclusive. You're just diversifying the colors or the identities of the people that will all have the same views. So how is that diverse or inclusive at all? If you can't, if you're presumed to be a evil racist because you support Zionism, if you're presumed to be anti-gay and you want to beat up the gay people or something just because you are religious, they put all this bullshit in there that has nothing to do with our basic real viewpoints. A religious person isn't going to go out and gay bash. Come on. If I say something, well, I don't think the homosexual lifestyle is the best or something like that, they're going to turn it into like, well, that's hate, and you're going to go and do beat up the guy and crucify him like they did to that one gay kid or whatever. Like, that's, who does gay bashings? Closet homosexuals, not religious people. Not religious people. If you're religious, you're not going to go and beat up a gay person. I'm sorry. If you're religious, you're not going to go and beat up somebody because they're a different race. If you're religious, you're not going to go and beat up anybody randomly. You're going to beat up somebody who tries to attack you and kill you, hopefully. But the extreme secularism is what led us to this point, in the United States and in Israel. When we talk about Israel and this so-called deal, and you still have people out there to this day, like groups like Beitar or social media secular things, or hot gay Jewish or whatever, there are various little channels on social media and all this stuff. And the whole time they've been focusing on how, Israel is very diverse. We're not racist. We have all these people who aren't Jewish. We have all these blah, 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 blah. And that's been their hasbara for the year. And very little about how this land is promised to us in our religious texts. Even if you're not religiously observant, the idea behind Zionism has a religious base, because we would have never been in that place if that wasn't where God told us to go, or at least where people perceive that God told them to go. Okay. So if this wasn't part of the religion, none of this would ever even be happening. Jews wouldn't even exist. So if I don't want to hear anybody from one of these secular things complaining about this deal. Because this deal that you hate so much, that's making everybody fucking cry and feel like shit, that is secular Zionism. That's it right there. We are not obeying by Jewish law. We are just acting like we're just any other country in the world, and we can be pressured into things because of international viewpoints and what's popular in politics and all this stuff. If you erase Judaism out of the Zionism, this is what you get. Well, we just want to still kind of have a state that exists, and that's all. That's all you're going to settle for that. Then you're settled. That's why we're settling for this. Like the rabbi said, if somebody is coming to kill you, you're supposed to arise and kill them first. But that's a religious dictum, isn't it? That's not in the Israeli constitution or any charter or anything, right? Because foolishly, a secular state became more and more secular. Realistically, what should have happened would have been that it was formed as a regular state, and then it should have become more and more religious. As more and more Jews came to Israel, especially first, second, and third Aliyahs, it should have been becoming more and more religious, but somehow it got more and more secular. It had too many people bringing European influence, bringing socialism. Everybody needs to, have these universal feelings, these universalist views, this pluralistic approach, and it hasn't worked. Look, I'm not saying that everybody needs to just do what I believe, and make it be go back to the monarchy, but we need to have a Jewish country be Jewish. We don't need to have a Jewish country be, well, it's just a country and it happens to have a lot of Jews in it. Yeah, a Jewish state is necessary now more than ever. Yeah, and it should be, as I was saying, Jewish. But more and more, we have people saying on our side, saying that they support something like 2 states. What do we mean 2 states? There's already Jordan. Well, how many states do they get? No, there's no other 2 states. What are you talking about? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. And realistically, this is all because of this whole secular viewpoint. It's all because of just treating it like any other country with whatever we're going by the standards of the world today, is that we don't have ethno states and magic dirt theory. Anybody who just steps foot on our soil is one of us. And no, that's not the case. And especially when we're talking about the land of Israel. Jews have a specific purpose. That land has a specific purpose. And us not being allowed to do that could be the reason why there's so much conflict in the world, why there's so much death, why there's so much division, why people are so hateful and killing each other, because the Jews are not doing the Jew job. And we're not really even being allowed to. The Jews are the hubs in the network and everybody else are the nodes. And there's a great film that talks about this called The Jew and the Survival of the System, narrated by Tony Kosanek. And I'll post that again on our Telegram channel for those who not watched it. But yeah. So that being said, I just wanted to, we're going to close up here shortly, but I just wanted to say that, yeah, we at JDL do not support this bullshit deal. When I was talking with Rabbi Shifren some, 13, 14 years ago or whatever, back 2011, 14 years ago, when we recorded the Essential War, a track that I did, a Hadar track, we talked about this. He talked about this in the spoken word that he did. He said that they released all these terrible people and they will go forward to kill more Jews. In that release was Yahya Sinwar. So in this release will be the next Yahya Sinwar. So thanks a lot, government, for once again proving that Jews cannot trust the government, even if it pretends to be Jewish. Good night.
Jewish authority. Jewish authority. Jewish authority.